Okay, and we are live, everybody. Today is Monday, February 22nd, and we have tonight the very first of what we hope to be many Forrest Fenn panels. Thank you to everybody who's on the panel tonight. We're going to go around the room and let everybody introduce themselves. I will remind everybody that Super Chat's on in case there's a question. You want one of these fine people, treasure hunters, to answer, and make sure you thumbs up the video. And thanks for tuning in. K-Pro, take it away.
Hi, everybody. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm K-Pro. I'm the other half of the better half, the worst half. I'm the other half of Cowlazars' Grand Adventure. You guys know me for the most part, but we did this because we thought we would like to see some new people, some different thoughts, some discussions. And so I know, and I apologize to everybody who wanted to be on tonight. We have so much interest. We have the next couple weeks of panels already filled up, which I'm very excited about. But so we have some new people. We have some people that we all know and love from other channels. And so tonight we're going to be talking about the state of the chase, the ending, where are we now, and what's next. There's a lot to unpack there. But I wanted to first give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves. If you have a channel, talk about the channel, when you started in the chase, if you had a state. And then we'll start talking about the state of the chase, the ending. Are we going to get any more from this Jack fellow? Do we care? Do we believe Jack? Forrest Fenn? You know, there's lots of stuff to talk about. But I'll go around. Let's see. Fendy's first on my little six-pack box. Fendi, over to you.
What's going on? Thank you, Mr. and Miss Cowlazars. I'm telling you, thanks for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. Hey, for anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Fendi Jones out there, and I've been in the chase since 2015. And Forrest Fenn changed my life. You know, I mean, we have a channel that we work with Bear. It's called Bear and Fendi Look for Stuff, and we're going through the book right now. We're going through the Too Far to Walk, all the scrapbooks and all that good kind of stuff. My state was always Wyoming, and I'll get even more specific, and I'll say Yellowstone National Park. So I appreciate you guys having me, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the night.
Okay, thank you. And those of you that don't know, one of our highest show returns was that guy, Bear. Remember the guy that said clip the string?
Cut the string.
And he was the lead searcher, and we did word the title in a way that some people thought he was the confirmed lead searcher. So we have hundreds and hundreds of people. That's his second in command, or both. That's who he teams up with. So it's a fun panel. They turn the light on white when it's like serious talk, and then they turn it like a black light on, and they get a little crazy when they talk theories. So or conspiracy.
Just to break in, we did get a super chat from Mr. Mark West, our Las Vegas friend. He says, "Nice to see you all again. By the way, Vegas Knights 2, Avalanche 0." Thank you for the super chat, Mark. We appreciate it.
Nice. Okay, over to Billy. Who are you, Billy?
I'm doing great. Billy Shaw Jr. I don't have a treasure hunt channel. I did make my first treasure hunt video a month ago or so, but I have a music channel on Facebook. But I've been in the search since, I want to say 2015. It could have been 2014. I was kind of a part-time searcher. I wasn't really involved in the forums. I kind of wish I had been, but I decided not to early on, and then got really involved in them when after it was found, and it's been awesome. I mean, I didn't realize there was so much out there and all these other treasure hunts going on, and it's been a lot of fun getting involved with, you know, like-minded individuals and solving stuff like the Grand Adventure and whatnot. So, but yeah, I'm like Fenn was like my first like hunt I was involved in for that long of a period of time, you know.
He was the love, he was the marriage, and we're all like oddly dating all these other little hunts. Yeah. Billy solved our hunt, the one that we put out that we were it's gonna go on for months, within 24 hours.
Adventure.
He's like, ship it. I'm done.
Outcast and Casey Ma. We're team. We're called the Algebras.
All right, we got another super chat from Chasing Indy. Got to support my lovely friends in the Fenverse. K-Pro, Fendi, and Greg. Also, good luck to Billy and Zap tonight. Thank you, Candy.
Hey.
Okay, next. You know him maybe as Greg. You may know him as Stinger, but he is here tonight. He has a channel. He's ready to get some information out. But first, let's talk about your channel. Greg, over to you.
Hey, thank you for having me on the channel. Hey, it's been about time. We combined everything as one, huh? Feels good. You know, thank you for having me on the channel. I've been watching the chase for about 10 years now when it first started and everything. I was there when Dale first started the whole thing in the forum. I didn't pull the trigger until about 2 years ago. So I've been in the chase. I have my own channel called Treasure Seekers, but it's called The Brutal Truth. So if you stick your foot in your mouth, we call you out on your shit. That's just the way it is. And it's a show. You know, we just throw out some stuff for people to open their minds. You know what I mean? Just to kind of go outside the box. We make it fun for everybody. Now, it doesn't mean that we want to hurt anybody. No, it just means we want to have fun. And we just took the other side. You know what I mean? Like K-Pro's got her, you know, show, and Mike has their show. They do it professionally. Our show, we're just the underdogs. We just call shit out. We just have fun. And thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, awesome. And Fendi, he does it a little different. Everybody has their niche. If you have not watched Greg's show, there's a distinct niche. So thanks for being here, because I do have to say, all panelists are open to ask questions as we go, and we can make them. Nobody has to answer anything, but that's what we're here for. We're getting to the truth, and Greg will get to the brutal truth. So
Truth or dare.
Truth or dare. Zapster, over to you. And if you guys don't know, Zapster is the handle over from Thor, and probably other forums as well. So Zapster, I know your name forever, so I'm so glad you're here. Over to you.
Yeah, it's fun to participate in one of these. Thanks for the invite. I got into the chase about 2015, like it seems like everybody else. Felt like I was a little late to the game. I always hate when that happens, when I find out about something that's already been ongoing for 5 years, but didn't seem to hurt my chances or or help my chances any better than anybody else. Like a lot of you, I probably found the first forum online that I found was Dale's, and so I was pretty quickly posting there under Zaphod 73491. But I decided to shorten that up a little bit for Thor. It was getting to be too confusing or too much to type. But yeah, my search state was always Montana, and so learning that it was in Wyoming, of course, was disheartening for those of you who believe it was found in Wyoming. So yeah, I guess we're in this weird chase purgatory where we can't ask the puzzle master anything since he's gone, and we don't have an end-to-end solution. So that's part of the reason I think that people are still engaged.
Well, that's a perfect segue. So we're going to start, we'll go round robin, and then I see things tangenting from here. Some people believe that Forrest Fenn has passed away. Some people believe that Jack Stoof is the finder, legitimately found it on June 6th. Some people believe that it was found in Wyoming. Not everyone believes any of that. So I think that's where we should start our discussions. Has it been found? I know some distinguish between the finder and the solver and the lead searcher and the person to blah, 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 blah. I will tell you, I believe it's definitely been recovered. My jury is still out on whether Jack was the finder. I don't think we have enough information. The legitimate finder through a boots on the ground search, picking it up, etc. I lean towards yes, but there's too many conspiracy theories out there for me to be committed to that. I believe it was Wyoming, but if it's all a conspiracy, why should I believe it's in Wyoming? So my jury's still out. I don't know. I believe Jack, with the amount that he's talking, is going to slip up, and Forrest slipped up. I think Jack already has. I think some searchers are hot on getting some solutions. I think in the year's time, we will know everything, and Jack won't be happy. And oh well, Jack, you're kind of setting yourself up for that, doing all this private talking and some of the stuff you're saying. Just my opinion. I don't necessarily think Jack's a bad guy. I just don't think this was as it is being said right now. So that is it's okay to say that. I don't say Jack is evil and should die. I'm just saying, Jack, I think there's more to this story. It's okay to question. I question Forrest. I question Jack. Everybody can question things because that's what we should do. So let's go around the room and see where you guys are at. Do you believe Jack, do you believe Wyoming? Do you believe Forrest has passed? Do you believe there's anything more coming? What do you think, Findy? Let's start with you.
I'll tell you what, I think this is what I think. I think that this is part of a complex business arrangement, is what I think. And I think that Jack may have been the one to get the chest, and maybe he's the caretaker of whatever happens next. But I think it's pretty deep. I think it was Wyoming, definitely. There's no doubt about it in my mind. It was always Wyoming after I probably spent about a year into this thing. I mean, everything that we've come up with, it just points to Wyoming and Montana, you know. So, you know, what happens from here is Fenn passed away. I believe Fenn has absolutely passed away. I don't think that they would do that, you know, at this point in the game. I mean, because if for some reason they slipped up on that, that would cause them way more trouble than what they would even have to deal with. And I mean, that family lost 2 members of their family. So I think really what we should do as a community, number one, is give the family some respect, because they haven't really been given the respect that they should deserve to mourn over 2 magnificent people like that, you know. So that's a whole different part of the story, you know. But to keep it up, I believe that there's going to be more coming in the future, and I believe that as that business arrangement unfolds, I believe we're going to learn more about it, you know. So I've talked about that for a long time. I think I even put my first video about that on about August 20th of last year on my station, Findy Jones. So.
Nice. Okay. So similar thoughts. So what do you think, Billy? This ending. Now, can we all agree this ending sucks?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's
Yeah.
nothing good about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was especially sucky for me because I was getting ready to go boots on the ground when it was announced that it was found, and that crushed me.
Same here. I was about 4 days away.
Yeah. So and it was Wyoming, just south of Yellowstone. I'm with Fendi. Jack's a nice placeholder for now because, you know, as far as we can tell, he has the chest. You know, he met with Forrest. I mean, he's there. I think it's more complex than that. Before Jack came forward, I was 95% convinced that the ForrestFennTreasure.com was accurate, that it had been found in August of 19. It was up for sale, was sold in like April of 2020, and then miraculously announced that it was found in June. It's quite uncanny, the timing of all that. That's quite a feat, coincidentally, to pull out. Now, that may just be just coincidence, but it does add to the mystery and the fact that it could be something more complex. And what better person to do all the writing on the website than Jack Stiff, you know? And so I think we might find that there's some more complexities that come out, you know, it could be 10 years from now, though. It really could. It may not be a year. I think a year is optimistic. It could be a long time because if he sells the chest, he may have to sell it with an NDA, and we'll still know nothing.
Okay. Over to you, Greg. End of the chase. Where are we at? Who do you believe? Do you believe this Jack guy? Do you believe Forrest is gone? Do you believe Forrest has left us anything that we'll eventually get more answers? Or what do you think?
I'll tell you one thing. I'm stuck in the middle. So I hear so many different stories every day. I mean, so it's kind of hard just to put my feedback into it from all the searchers. But my belief is how it ended was wrong. Truly, how this whole thing ended for the search community was totally wrong. It was messed up. It was really messed up how this whole thing ended. I have so many red flags and so many concerns on what has happened. I mean, with the lawsuits, stuff like that, because it also threw up another in K-Pro. I don't know if you know anything about this. So let's just veer a little bit on the out, okay? With the lawsuit from Michigan, okay? I will say Michigan or whatever.
It's a
One
good
of
call.
the lawsuits.
Good
one of
call.
The lawsuits, yeah.
Hey, you know what? I can fucking say Barbara. I don't give a crap.
Oh no.
I can. She come at me. So I mean, my whole thing is, now that she could still file a lawsuit, doesn't that mean that now it's on hold for a year?
I think it's a good point. So right now, from what I understand, anybody that can file a lawsuit against the estate up until 4 months after the initial announcement to all creditors, etc., which is the 28th of this month. There were 2 lawsuits, Arizona, and I'll just call it the other. The Arizona one was dismissed with prejudice. So he's still under the same timeline as everyone else to refile in New Mexico in the next 7 days. He is probably collecting money for a very large legal bill right now. I don't know if he's going to refile.
That brought up another question that came to my panel, okay, in emails. So he was billed for that. How come Barbara wasn't billed? Is my next question.
So from what I understand, okay, so let me go to the first part first. The other lawsuit has a year to refile. So there is a window that if you are very conservative about will there be a refiling, you would wait because there is a 1-year window. So
doesn't it put a hold on everything though?
That many would say that we are now in a 1-year holding pattern before anything more can come out, except for Jack did give one interview, and that is to Dan Barbarosi, and his book is coming out and Jack is in it. That is the only interview that I'm aware of that Jack has given. And there were discussions. It wasn't just here's a statement for your book. And those discussions were happening before we knew who Jack was by name. So there's going to be some, I think, breaking news information, which Dan's book gets on the press. And I think he's going to do a circuit and all of that. So you had a second question. What was your follow-up question?
Well, doesn't that year put a damper on things to where they can't do nothing with the chest or anything? I mean, doesn't it?
Oh, no, you asked too, what about legal fees on the other? Because it was dismissed, they could come back and ask the judge. From what I understand, I'm not a lawyer, but they could come back and ask. But since it was dismissed and dismissed without prejudice, they could bring it back and say, we want some of the legal fees and maybe there's more or less. I think the reason that the Arizona one was so high is not only forest attorneys, they had to hire a bunch of attorneys in Arizona and understand the Arizona laws and process. So it might have been almost double because there was 2 sets of lawyers. So I believe they can. I don't know if they will. I have had no communication with any official people on this. I don't think they will because it's just settled and, let it be. But I have no idea. Maybe they will. So I do think we have our new timeline isn't, I know a lot of people are like, Yahoo, all the lawsuits are over. No, in the one case, there's a 1-year window, which now is 11-month window. We still have 11 months then to be maybe in this purgatory. I don't know. We're in this silent.
If you figure it out. If you figure it out before then you're a step ahead of the game.
Right, but does that hold him from making a book deal though, or doing anything else?
Probably, yeah.
Except for we do have Dan's book coming out. So Zapster, what do you think? And then we'll start tangenting off on all these fun little rabbit holes.
Well, I think there's enough evidence that Jack was physically in New Mexico, and obviously there was a chest in a conference room or bank vault or wherever that has certainly enough of the items that were in the chest to say for sure that it isn't out in the wilderness anymore. Now, the question, I guess, would be, is there any chance those pictures were taken prior to this past summer? And I don't know what the answer to that would be. You saw the picture, or they subtly included a little blue face mask in the corner in that one picture of Jack. So, but O is gonna, O exclamation point, is obviously gonna send that off to the forensic guys and see if that was photoshopped in or whatever. But I would say just from Fenn's general appearance in that few sets of pictures, he looks contemporary. You've seen him. It didn't look like it was a particularly old, picture, right?
I agree. I actually think I saw him meeting. I've never seen Jack. Him meeting Forrest 2 weeks before he passed, and I think the hair matches. I think that there was no haircuts for a while. I think it looks time appropriate. I think that I don't
Right.
know if those pictures were exactly on that day. O is going. So for those of you that don't know, a gentleman by the name of Robert, he goes by O on the forums. He did a fundraise in like less than a week, a couple $1,000s to analyze because he believes there's been photoshopping and doctoring of the photos. That's in process right now. They have put out 3 or 4 requests for proposals, like what would you give us, exactly how much, etc. They'll take that to all the people or a subset of people, do a Zoom and analyze the photos. Jack has already weighed in, though, privately, of course, to various private emails to searchers saying he took a picture of a picture, so you won't get any timestamps. To me, I think that's appropriate. I know I have taken pictures of pictures when I don't know enough about metadata, but I guess the resolutions, you can still see tailoring and doctoring. So we might not get date stamps. I don't know if anything will come of it. I just think it's cool somebody's that into going down that rabbit hole. So Mike and I contributed to. What do you guys think of the photoshopping analysis conspiracy?
Can I ask you one question though? Don't you think he looks like Miller? The guy that
No, and this is why I will tell you: you don't group all brunettes with a goatee. I have had correspondence with both of them and know them enough. No, they are two different.
Doesn't it look like him though?
It may resemble. They might be a cousin. They are not the same people. I will just tell you. They are. I got a couple of excerpts, and Robert, you were Robert is such a I think straightforward guy. I think he was, I won't say offended, but he was definitely shocked. He was put in the category of an Axeman. He's not the Axeman. I don't think he's ever broken any laws. And Robert, you're good. I know you're not him. I know it.
I'll weigh in real quick. You guys can hear me okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just say 2 things as far as the state of the chase, I guess, and where we're at. Like Lori Barnes said, she thinks Forrest knew he was going to pass away and he had Jack pull it. So while Jack retrieved it, she thinks Forrest directed him to go do it. The only problem I have with that is I don't know if Jack is the person Forrest would have picked if he was going to pick somebody. I think it would have been a total unknown person. I don't think it would have been somebody that had published writing in the past, non-chase related. I think if Forrest was going to pull it, I think he would have picked a true stranger that nobody had ever heard of before. Jack was going to be on AGK. Jack had published his own YouTube video. So to me, that just doesn't sound right. So I do think Jack retrieved it. I don't know if he's ever going to give the solution up. But I do think that somebody out there is going to figure out another location, much like the GPS solved. I think another location will come out from searchers, and then we can all make up our own mind if it's correct or not. And we'll kind of go from there. I don't know if we'll ever have actual proof because I don't think Jack's going to confirm if it's true or not.
I'm gonna find that stick.
What's that?
I'm gonna find the stick.
Right. Hopefully, if there's another location that comes up, there'll be something there that leads us to think it's correct. We'll see. I guess time will tell.
Oh, don't you? Hey, the stick just flew in the box. You know that, right?
Yeah. Okay. So let's start there. I would love to have a couple of things that each of you just go, huh? That's one for me. Oh, I don't know how the stick got in there. It just blew it. That one, if it was pre-prepared, should have come up with a better. That one's a bunch of malarkey in my mind. I'm just gonna call. And this whole like Jack, it's Jack 819-72963, and he's like, I just randomly hit buttons.
April.
Yeah.
Jack.
Well, today I just came up with something just off the whim. You know what I mean, on my channel. And I said, don't you think what if it was a lock combination?
Well, he said no man-made structure, and I believe Forrest in saying that.
Yeah.
But could it be that Jack was planted and gave that information out for us to go to somewhere with a lock? Wasn't that Dave Calvi's thing? It was like a lock in a garage.
Oh, I thought the stick was holding the lid of the chest open because that's where the webcam was, inside the chest. You guys didn't hear this? You know, like a rodent trap, you leave a box with it, pry it open.
And he found a
That
dead
would make
squirrel
more
inside the
sense.
chest instead.
That would make more sense than it randomly fell in the box, and I don't know how. I mean, it's like a couple of these. I just think, Jack, where's your wonk, wonk, wonk button? I mean,
Yeah, I don't believe
any
that.
other ones that make you go?
Hashtag stick.
Yeah,
The scissors.
The I slept in. Yeah, that.
I slept in for all night. And then-
Okay, I actually that was on my list, and I happened to have Margarita Mondays with a lady named Cynthia Meacham today, and Cynthia gave me the best explanation that totally makes sense. Cynthia, if you
Oh,
were
wait
in
a minute.
chat, no,
Oh, you have to say it now. You brought it up.
no, Cynthia, if it's okay, I would like to share it because it totally makes sense, and that kind of narrows down the search location. So if you are okay with it, Cynthia, if not, you're going to get 1,000 emails because I'll give her email out.
It
to
does
everybody.
make sense, though. It does totally make sense.
It totally makes sense.
All right,
And-
spill it.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait for Cynthia. Okay, I'll wait for Cynthia for that answer. I'm not going to, I wrote it down. So if Cynthia says yes, totally makes sense. Okay, but any others that?
Well,
I heard
I
a
mean,
good
back-
explanation of that one. I heard someone, and it made sense to me, that he needed to make 2 trips. And he took the stuff inside the chest in one trip, went back to the hotel, went to sleep, came back the next morning and picked up the chest because it was getting too late out.
That's a good one.
All right,
Oh, I like
Cynthia
that
said
one.
go for it. Cynthia
Okay,
said go for it.
This is so good.
Here we go, everybody. Ready? The official breaking news.
I don't know if it's that.
Tag
But
opinion.
I'm like, Cynthia, I brought her my list of like, these are BS answers or hard to believe answers. And she's like, think about this. If you believe it's in the park, you don't wake up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday and go and pick it up because you're going to be sitting for hours in that ridiculous Yellowstone line to get in. But if you wait till 9 or 10, if you sleep in, you know you're going to be sitting in line anyway, and you don't want to be sitting at that line. You just sleep in, get some breakfast, get in line at 10, and you zoom right through because you know you're not going to make it in a day anyway.
Not in COVID.
Yes, Greg, I know. This is huge.
Why do you all think it's in Yellowstone though?
Because Jack slept in, and this totally makes sense now. And the GPS solve told us because our source.
For me, because Forrest was umbilically attached, and he's umbilically attached to Yellowstone, it makes sense. And the GPS numbers point to Yellowstone. You guys know this.
No, I know what you guys are saying and everything. I mean, so I got one major question for you guys. Just one. Just one right now.
All right, let's hear it, Greg.
Now, simple question. Has anyone ever seen the chest?
In person?
Anybody, any person, any searcher, any film crew, anything, yes or no, have you ever seen the chest? You have pictures. I can make up pictures, but I'm asking you a simple question.
Jack is the only searcher that I can say has seen the chest in person, right?
Doug Preston.
Doug
Right.
Preston, that's true.
That's it.
Before it was hidden. Yeah.
There's several people that saw it before it's hidden. One person was offered to see it during her lawsuit as a part of the settlement.
Heard that.
I was there. I heard that.
I wasn't there like you were there. I'm just saying in general.
We're not going there. We're not going to go there.
Well, if it goes back to that complex business arrangement, maybe if Jack was hired through the corporation, he would have the ability to stand in Finn's shoes to handle the parts of this chase, man. So he could have been the finder to do that, but you just don't know. I mean, my theory all along has been that this was about 2 prizes. You had a prize A, which was the chest with the gold and jewels in it, and then you had prize B, which was actually going to be a super prize. All right. And my thought is if Jack took the super prize, then maybe one of the requirements was he had to go out and leave the chest again, but if he has lawsuits against him, I don't think he's going to be able to go and pursue those with ease. I mean, he probably could, but it's going to be difficult because of attorney fees. But
Well, but
I could argue that one because he made the claim he didn't even know nothing about Barbara or the lawsuit or anything.
and that's fair,
well, here's one of my questions, and I don't have a good answer to. Maybe I should ask Cynthia because she had some great answers today. Why did he leave it in New Mexico, go, and then not be able to go back? I know Forrest was wanting to meet him, and he put out that they couldn't get hooked up, etc. He did not visit back for whatever reason. You would think if he's not going to visit back, is there a reason it stayed within the state? Because
I don't
maybe
think
then
he
it
wants
makes
to travel. I don't think he wanted to travel with that darn thing, and it probably just as easy just to leave it there.
Really,
Yeah.
you think you would have left it there? You would have grabbed that thing and went home.
Oh, I would have went home because I could drive home from where. That's a bit of a drive of you know, I don't know where he's going, but
would have got me a bucket and just peed in the bucket while I'm driving. I just would have.
But unless there's a reason, like when he said that he went back to go get Forrest's explicit permission, he didn't come out with the information. There was legal documents.
yeah.
Then that came out and it's like, oh, that makes sense then. Forrest said to. Why'd you leave it in New Mexico? Like, why aren't you putting out the solution? Because people might trample the forest and destroy the forest. Like, you're going to destroy a tree or a rock. Like, that one doesn't make sense. But Zapster, let's have you weigh in. We've hit a few things. What do you think? Like, why do you leave it in New Mexico? And
What do you think?
Well, he had to have a compelling reason to go directly from wherever he was in Wyoming to New Mexico. So I get the idea of the tax implications that bring it to me, I will take it back from you and then gift it to you, and therefore different federal tax rules go into effect. In essence, I will save you $400,000 in taxes or whatever. It's not going to affect his state taxes, but federal is going to be the bigger chunk. So if he's already in New Mexico and he's still got to get back to what, Michigan? Was that where he's from?
I believe
Right.
I think
somewhere
it's
back
probably,
east.
yeah, back east.
Pennsylvania
Yeah.
is what I was thinking for some reason.
I was the finder the first night.
But
So it's probably riskier for him to, go down there, play that little handoff, handback game, and then drive with that thing all the way back to Michigan. I think that's the riskier course. So if you're already in Santa Fe, there's probably multiple choices of safe deposit boxes where he could stash it for the time being. But I don't know, it just does seem contrived. And the whole business about you find it on Friday and you're like, well, I'm going to leave it here and I'm going to give him a call and make sure it's okay for me to take it. It's like, no. Yeah.
Well,
Is there
Odorous-
anyone in this room that would have done that?
Odorous Gnome's got a comment. He said Forrest maybe was trying to broker the sale of it, so it was kept in New Mexico. You think Jack could have asked Forrest, like, is there somebody you know, or could you kind of, or do you think Forrest would not have been involved in the sale in any way if Forrest was still alive?
I got a
Seems like
great
one of the
idea.
things that Forrest would have left up to the finder.
But I think he wants it somewhere. He has said that's the reason Jack has said he's not put it up for sale yet. He's trying to get it where Forrest would want it. I don't know what, I would assume it's in one of those states. And so I actually think it's due to, if it came out later that there was any issue, if it was left in New Mexico, it doesn't become a federal issue. It's more of a state issue. That's my guess. But why is it still there now? Why didn't, I hate to say, if you're out boots on the ground during COVID, if the excuse or reason that Jack couldn't visit Forrest was COVID, Forrest wanted to visit. Forrest wanted to interact. I have that correspondence back and forth with Forrest quite a bit. I would have used appropriate social distancing and all of those things. I would have visited Forrest, especially if I knew he was sick. I just would have wanted some more time with him and get every story and get, like Jack saying, there's no key word because I didn't ask him. I didn't ask him this. I have sat with that man for hours just listening to great stories. I would have wanted to know. I would have moved there for a month or 2 months or however long.
Yep.
That one doesn't. There's something, I feel when something doesn't make sense, there's something more that we don't know. Not necessarily a lie, but there's something more.
Now, why was there a difference in how Forrest interacted with Jack versus how he, someone he doesn't even know during that era of COVID, whereas Cynthia, who he does know, he wouldn't let her get within 12 feet of him. So there's an inconsistency there. That seems odd. He's like, I know Cynthia, I don't know this guy.
Yeah, but I think there's two different times, in my opinion. Cynthia's was early on to COVID. And so I think he was being appropriate. I think a little bit of that. I know when I visited him once, it was very far apart and it wasn't anything. The last time he knew his were numbered, he was right there and he embraced my hand and told me it was like, I didn't know it was the farewell forever. He knew it was the farewell forever. So I think for the months and months of COVID, he was being very cautious. I think towards the very end, he wanted to get that last here, like, you were my friend. Thank you for what you did he said things so that, but he did have his mask on. He still did appropriate things. I just think it was with the end and he knew it. That's my guess.
Well, maybe it was the chest you really wanted to see, not so much Jack. And it was a package deal.
Yeah. I got an idea on why it might still be in New Mexico. All right, think about this. I mean, if remember what Fenn said? Fenn said, talking about Jackie Kennedy's bottle of whiskey that she left, he said that's going to go to one of his heirs. And he made
The
specific
bottomless bottle.
exactly, that kept getting refilled. You know, but he made it a point to say, hey, look, that's going to go to one of my heirs, but my children have already been provided for. All right, so if this treasure chest became part somewhere or another of the estate, and Jack had to wait until the estate is cleared, then it would make perfect sense on why that would have to sit in New Mexico. So, I mean, because you can't really disperse anything until the estate is done, because you got to give the creditors and people who want to go after the estate the ability to do it, because that's value for the estate in some way. So it could be I'm telling you, it's got to be some kind of complex situation like that.
That's a
And
great
that
point.
goes along
Legal.
with Jack gave it back to him, and they're going to legally give it to Jack. So that could be. We talked about S Corp and all that when I did the
Exactly.
interview, so maybe.
Okay, and Cynthia does confirm I got close the last couple of visits with Forrest, so that kind of goes along with what we were saying before about, I think towards the end, he got closer. It was, yeah.
And Nomadic Madman said in the chat that Jack said Forrest was going to contact somebody for him. I'm not familiar with that one. Have you guys heard that? Maybe that's why the chest is still in New Mexico in a vault, is he says that Jack said Forrest was going to contact somebody for him. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that one. Stop making stuff up, Nomadic Madman. No, I'm sure that's what Jack said. It's just I don't remember it.
I mean, you know me, I got to have the proof.
Well, it's like a legal, I just think we're all saying the same thing in a different way. There has to be a legal reason. Just leaving it in New Mexico because you didn't want to travel with it.
That
There's
sucker would be
something-
gone if it was me. It'd been gone.
Yeah, I had the whole I mean, and if you actually did get it, and before your name or any information's out, even if you had to leave it initially, I'd be heading back. I don't know. It just, again, that one doesn't make sense. So let's say from here forward, what do you expect from Forrest Estate, or Forrest, I don't think any of us think Forrest is alive, but some do. I get lots of emails. Or Jack or Dan Barbarosi's book. That is the only interview that Jack has given. What do we think is next? Either the next, I'll just say near term, for 2021, what do we think is next?
Well, what I would like to see is the legal ramifications go away, man. Just let things unfold how they're going to unfold. And I mean, that's one of the reasons that Bear and I have been doing our show. We want to try to go ahead and be able to prove this thing without a shadow of a doubt before it's even released in the courts. Because why should it? You know, the answers to where the chest was are still in the book. They were there before, you know, we all got interested in it, and they're still, you know, correct today.
But do you think you're going to be able to confirm?
Yeah, I think you'll be able to confirm a lot of it. I mean, I bet we'll get the 200 to 500 feet. We're not going to get the 10 by 10 inch area, but that doesn't matter. I think that when you sit back and you look, you know, where this area is, I think it's going to be such a beautiful place. You're going to know, just like Cynthia said all along, and so many people, you know, that Finney part. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Well, it seems to me that since we have supposedly in situ pictures of it, you know, very near where it was pulled out of its whole, you know, niche or nook, there are distinctive things in those pictures. Just a piece of wood, that wood grain, the sedges or whatever that are around it. There's enough, even if there's no hole per se, there is enough forensic evidence in that picture that if you got to that spot, you would be able to know for sure you were at the right spot.
But think of how many searchers know for sure they still have the right spot in Colorado, New Mexico, Montana. Like, I don't know.
Well, and their opinion must be that those pictures are faked, or they're not taken anywhere near where it was found.
But that's how searchers are, though. Searchers, when you read the book, it hits them in the heart. It hit all of us in the heart, in our brain and in our heart. And that's the whole thing. At the end of the day, we all have our solve, and nobody can prove us wrong because of how it all ended. And that's how I've always said. And that's why I like listening to people's solves, because it's a special thing in their hearts. It's always been a special thing to everybody's heart, because Forrest did touch everybody. You know what I mean? He really did. How he wrote this book was phenomenal. I mean, you can't change it. I mean, I don't think there would be anybody on this earth that could write a book like Forrest did. You know what I mean? And we might go off and tangent, like on my show and crap like that. But at the end of the day, that book touched everybody's hearts and minds. And you're so dead set on yourself and stubborn, like we all are as humans. Change our location. It doesn't matter if Fendi tells me or Zapster or Mike, I am not changing my location. It just doesn't matter. It's just the way it is. He did a great job of what he did.
I'm hoping 2021 is we get the sale of the chest. That's what
that might open things up, right? Because
Yeah.
there's one thing that nobody's read yet, including Jack, and that's Forrest's autobiography that's in the chest. So hopefully the person who does finally purchase it, they can't make money off it because that person doesn't own the copyright, but they can share it with everybody. They could actually open the jar and share with everybody what it says, whether it's live on YouTube or however they decide to do that. And maybe there's something about the location in that autobiography. I don't think Forrest is going to come out and say this is where the chest was, but if this place is so special to him, wouldn't he maybe talk about it, maybe indirectly in his autobiography that's in the chest? So that might give us a little bit more information if and when that ever comes out.
I think he found it when he was flying.
I think he found it. I think it was a place that he spent a lot of time with his family at as he was growing up. And then it also, you know, what a lot of people don't talk about in this chase is this is really about a love story too. And I think that there's an unknown story that nobody's talked about here. And I think that in addition to Fenn and the time that he spent with his family in Yellowstone, I think that he may have a history with Peggy there too, of some way or another. And if that proved to be the case, man, I mean, you know, it could be a catalyst for a place that was supportive of him at many points in his life, you know. So I know one thing. I mean, there's places that I've been in Yellowstone and I never would have gone there had Fenn not wrote this book, you know, and for that, I'm very, very thankful. It's he gave me more than any treasure chest. You know, I said at the beginning, man, he changed my life. My life was at a point where it was a pretty crazy time, and I was, you know, crazy in myself. And this dude, he took his time to provide an insight and an outlet for us to go. And if you took it and ran, I mean, look at the people that this affected. I think it's freaking awesome. You know, we need more guys like him. So.
Yeah, so a couple things, guys. There's 230 of you in the room. We'd like to see a few more thumbs up. We're only at about 22. So thumbs up, put an at the app sign and KPro. If you have a question for anybody on the panel, I will make sure to get those questions to the panel. So I think you're exactly right. There's good and there's I think it'd be interesting to do a study about. So the national average of divorces in America is 50%. So we're going to have some divorces.
Nobody wants to live with anybody.
Well, but the same is with deaths, the same is with accidents, the same is, and positive marriages and this and that and the other. And so I think some people blame the surge for people getting overcommitted or having issues and things. Our society in general has those issues. So unless they're disproportional in the chase, I would say, can we really blame the chase? But that's
yeah, I'm not blaming it. It did me good.
I got a fella out of
I know
it.
you did.
I mean,
yeah, that's what I
He
was
came
fixing
for
to
one,
say.
so I don't know. But just to go back to why maybe Jack left it in New Mexico, I did just get an email from a searcher, so thank you who sent this to me. They sent a response from Jack. Again, this is unverified, but it makes sense, so I'm going to go ahead and read it. And that is Jack said, and this is unverified, the chest is in New Mexico because I didn't want to travel on a plane with it after bringing it to Forrest. Also, I was being sued in New Mexico and I have a lawyer there and I gave them access to it. And then Jack also points out, I don't currently live in Michigan, but I grew up there. So I think that makes sense. He got on a plane to go back home. He's not going to bring the chest on a plane. And then because there was some legal issues, he left it in New Mexico where his lawyer in New Mexico had access to it. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah, Mike. So what makes sense to you about, so Mike, on the whole thing, I emailed Jack, asking for receipts for the hotel, food, or anything. And he comes back to me and he says, well, it'll give my location away where the treasure chest. Now, come on, that's not going to give away where the treasure chest was.
Well, okay. So let's say he gave you a receipt of where he ate. So let's say it was in West Yellowstone, right outside of the park. Do you think maybe it was in the park if he says, yeah, I was here in this city at this time? I understand him saying, I'm not going to give anything away. I'm not going to give anything away.
That's a good point. But what about the rent-a-car?
Well, here's another
About
one.
it, where he rented it from, or
Oh, no, just the receipt that he rented it for 25 days. Are we specific that he rented it for a whole 25 days, or we're not on that, or was it separate 25 days?
No, there was another email, which I hate. I do have to say, if I was in charge of the world right now, Jack wouldn't be privately emailing hundreds of different people, and this is how we're doing it, where some people are spoofing and some people are this and that. But there was an email from a searcher to him that said, you spent a whole 25 days. How could you do that? And he's like, no, I spent a
Not all
weekend
at
one
once.
time. I spent a whole week, but I didn't search every day. 25 is a ballpark. So I thought, was it 25 solid? No, it was a week here, a week there, a weekend here, that sort of thing. My question is, and I actually agree with Greg, I don't need anything but, that hotel that he supposedly wiped down the treasure chest, that wouldn't show his location. It's halfway in between. It should be somewhere maybe in Colorado. Just show that one.
You could time it out though on the timing.
it would lead to a lot of conspiracy theories, right? Whatever he would give up. So,
But also, I mean, what would you be so afraid of?
Legal ramifications.
Lawsuits.
and if it was found in the park, there's a whole other can of worms there he probably doesn't want open. But Jack, if you're watching, to speak to K-Pro's point of emailing a bunch of personal searchers, Jack, why don't you just create a website and you can verify all the answers you gave everybody? Just have it in one central place. You were doing that on Dale's vlog when Dale's vlog was up, but now that is down, make your own website. I mean, jacksemails.com. Everybody's going to go to it and read, and he can post what is officially a response from him. And that would be one central location. Just an idea.
Well, that's going to be my question to the panel. So him doing these private emails and I think he responds to lots of people, the vast majority. And there's this underground of emails that are being back and forth. Some people have put spoof emails up to see if he answers the same way. He is inviting shenanigans, is how I'll call it. Like when we were going to put out the email database, he emailed and said, do you want me to look it over and tell you which ones are not actual ones? Why set it up like that? Why go? I could see for a little bit, but he's responding constantly to, I would say, last he said he had 12 or 1400. I would say it's probably double that by now. So let's just say he responds to half of them. Why put 1,000 random emails out to searchers that are in shenanigans mode? Some of them aren't, some of them are. Is there a reason you think he's wanting to correspond with searchers? If he really wanted to be kind of underground, why isn't he going to the media? He says he doesn't want to, but he wants to email 1,000 times, just a guess. Why? It doesn't make logical sense to me. So can anybody give me why?
I've got one good reason. Well, one not so good reason is just a nice guy. One monetary reason is he needs to keep the buzz alive. If he's going to make some kind of book or movie deal, or he can't let the buzz go away.
Right. I agree with that.
Right. But the buzz I believe you're making my point. The buzz would not be a random email to Fendi, a random email to Capra, a random email to Zapster. The buzz would be, hey, he just updated his website again and he put out 30 new questions.
Maybe.
He just hit the media. He needs to get it. There's 5 searchers, in my opinion, that could buy the treasure chest. I know a couple of them and they are corresponding with them on that.
After he sent that email out, I asked him for the receipts. And then he made that response about the receipts, and if somebody would lose their job, how am I going to lose my job? I own my own company. I'm just throwing it out there because he came back with that shit after I said I want to see your receipts, and then he comes out with this stupid email of all these people that email him, and he had to put in there about the receipts. So, I mean, it's kind of fishy to me.
It just doesn't help with as many conspiracy theories that it might create. It would put some things to bed. I agree with you, Greg. I wouldn't mind seeing, I'm not pressuring him for any of it, but if he did have a receipt from anywhere it's not going to be exactly halfway in between. So I don't think it would. So what would that hurt? Saying I stayed at the Best Western in Silverton, I don't know, Denver, Colorado. This is my receipt that I stayed there on June 5th. Sherwood or 6th, I think it would be the night of the 6th. That sure would help me go, oh, he really like had.
Now it's too late. He's had plenty of time, is what I'm saying. Now it's too late.
It's never too late. It's never too late.
Manipulate pictures.
And then we'd have to hire, he'd have to do another fundraiser. I see your point.
And Jack, when you make the website, put new pictures of the chest on it. If you want buzz, I mean, everybody's going to go there and look at it. Just to go back real quick, Nomadic Madman says the quote is from the Dan Barbisi outside article, Barbarosi, sorry. Before he died, he was going to try and help me with getting a certain party to buy it. And that could be whoever it is that Forrest wanted the chest to go to. So that makes sense as well. So thanks, Nomadic, for the clarification.
You know what it's called? It's called Whiteout.
Okay, Dale asked, Dale Hudson, did anyone ask Jack who took the photo of him and Fenn, who's the third person in the room? I've never known that to be
Has
asked.
anybody asked him? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's at the bottom of the article. It says his name that took the picture. Yeah, at the very bottom of the pictures, it shows the person's full name that took the pictures.
Which article? The Medium article?
Yeah, with all the pictures and when he was with Fenn.
I'll have to look at that. I haven't
I
seen
never
it.
saw
Oh, look
that.
at that, Mike. I don't know. No.
I assumed it was
recall
whoever drove Forrest to the
No,
bank or wherever they were.
Yeah.
recognize the name. It was down at the bottom left.
Inquiring minds want to
Yeah,
know.
now we're going to have to double check that. Okay, so do you think we'll get any? Do you think we'll get anything out of? It'll be interesting to know the treasure chest contents, and the autobiography. Forrest has said he pulled out whatever, whatever meaning hints or clues to the final location. But other than it being interesting, do you think it'll get us anywhere near the closure portion of solution location?
I think that that Fenn has actually placed clues out there in the public to point us in that direction. I believe that that he did it inadvertently. You know, the yeah, this is a great conspiracy theory, but the crazy thing is when in 2018 I actually my book was so tore up, I asked Fenn to send me a new book, and when he did, I am totally convinced that he gave me a hand-drawn map from November of 2018. And, you know, there was a lot of talk out there in the community about, did Fenn send somebody? Did Fenn do this? Did Fenn do that? I mean, I never had any communication with him, and he never told me that's what it was. But it's the craziest thing. After I looked at that thing, it matches a place in Yellowstone exactly. And people have told me I'm crazy.
Wait,
and
you got a book from Forrest, just to go back.
Hang on.
yeah,
And it had it. Now, was it on a page? Was it an inserted page or no?
he drew a doodle. Basically, this is how good it gets. Okay, I even have the receipt from when I ordered it from Collected Books, and I asked them in there to make a request to Forrest to personalize the book for me. All right, I got the book shortly after that, and I got the date written down that I could do it. But basically, he wrote me, you know, the doodle in there, and I believe I have a map to the location, and I also believe that I have the key word that he wrote in there. And I've shared this stuff online in other places, and I've actually pulled it back. I mean, so it's still out there that people could see it, but I've done that for a reason, you know, and but I believe that, you know, for the people who are out there in Yellowstone, it could actually potentially show you a very specific spot.
Well, I would suggest you send it to K-Pro so she can put it on Thor, but that would just be my suggestion. So everybody.
Yeah. Well, see, well, I mean, the thing is okay, when Jack came out and he said, you know, Forrest doesn't want the place to be known, I basically sent this information to him. I told Carl Sumner, I've said this on Greg's show before. I called Carl Sumner and told him, I said, you know, I believe that I have a map directly where it was. And he said, well, tell me where it was. And I told him where it was. And he didn't say anything. He didn't tell me I was right. He didn't tell me I was wrong, but he did tell me he was going to talk to the family about it. And I got many communications with Fenn and I, you know, but Fenn never told me he had given me a map. He never gave me any more than what you would see. He answered most searchers. Thanks. You know, that's a grizzly bear, you know, very simple things. But I'm actually
Have you shared this with anyone in the community?
Well, I have shared it with people in the community for sure. If you're a little curious, you could go to my website on YouTube, Fendi Jones. And I believe the very first on my main page, I think I still have a very brief insight onto a little bit about it. And it just shows it a little bit. All right. But the thing is I'm having a handwriting expert study that, and it's a forensic expert from the FBI. So I'm trying to see if we can match it up very specifically before I bring it out more in public, you know, because it's all speculation. I can't say that I can say it's a map, but my gut feeling says it's a map, but I can't tell you for sure it's a map.
Fendi's a tease.
Well, I do have to say though, Fendi says he has receipts. Jack, did you hear that? Fendi has receipts and you don't have any receipts? Bah!
Well, I was in Yellowstone on May 18th this year. You know, there's been plenty of people that have said, I can't believe anybody was in Yellowstone at all this year. The gates weren't open, blah, blah, blah. And I was in there May 18th, and there was a whole lot of snow in that area. That lake was chunks of ice floating. It was a very desolate place, man.
Well,
but that
were
was
you legally there? I didn't think it opened till June 1st. I think it was open June 1st, but
yeah, I was legally there. I was I went right into it was the very first day that the gates had opened was
Okay.
May 18th. So I mean they didn't even charge that day. They basically, when your car, I came up through Jackson Hole and drove up along the Tetons and went up through in there, you know. So I went in through that entrance. Usually I went through the east entrance, but I didn't want to go up the crazy mountains over that way.
Building off of what Fendi said about stuff he put out in the public. Obviously, he had so many interviews, but one thing that really stood when he said, hand it to a child, you know, to figure out, that made something click in my brain that got me started on the solve that I ended up with. And then one of the prizes from the Grand Adventure that I ended up with was the signed Chaseopoly. And
that's right.
he
One of a kind.
did something when he signed it. He put an X in the middle of the path, which also goes along with the solve that I ended up with. And I was, because you're like, why did he put the X in the middle? I'm like, well, I know why he put it in the middle, because of his whole talk about me in the middle and where. But anyway, I think he did put stuff. I think he did put stuff out there to kind of mess with people. And if your solve's different, it's not going to make any sense to you. If your solve has something to do with it, it's going to make you go, otherwise you're going to think, oh, he's just messing with you.
Yeah.
well, the one time that he asked me where is my location, because we hadn't talked a lot about it, and that's when I had this Nez Perce solve. His answer was not like no or whatever. Like when I was in New Mexico, when I was at Lake Heronary, he's like, no, it's not there. Anyway, his answer was Nez Perce what? Like Nez Perce Creek, Nez Perce Trail, like be more specific. And that always messed me up, because I was like, that means Nez Perce is a part of it, because he should have just said no or roll his eyes. Why did he ask me? Was it the trail? Was it the, and so, but it's kind of like what I think Jack might be doing when he puts out so much. Like Cynthia, she said when we did Operation Nook GPS solve, one of his messages to her is how many seconds and minutes until you get back out there or something like that. And she's like, that fits.
Hashtag GPS.
Well, you can't answer no to anything, because after 1,000 no's, you're going to end up with the yes.
But you know, the whole thing is when you read the book, it makes you look outside the box. That's the whole thing. No matter what you see, you can look outside and see a fucking ice cream cone. You can make it.
We make it fit. We make anything fit. Yeah, that's true.
You do. Yeah.
No, he's totally preyed on people's pattern matching, and then once you've gone down that path, you know, everything convinces you that you're right. So
Yes, it's just no matter what you look at now, and no matter what you read, and no matter what music you listen to, you think it's about you.
Right. And well, and he had that way. He made people feel, it was like the Searchers were the famous ones. When you went and visited him, he wanted to hear everything about you, and you made you feel like $1 million. I will be clear. I'm not going to confirm who the source is. It is not Fendi, guys. He did not give us this map. Some people asked in chat. So is he your?
Nope.
No, Fendi's a good guy and honest.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I mean, if you think about it, this is proof from the author himself in November of 2018, and it has an X on it. It has a north heading, and I can't wait to hear what that forensic expert has to tell me about it. I'm telling you right now, I'm on the edge of my seat, because I mean, I have thought it's Wyoming anyway for the longest period of time, and the clues basically match up, you know. So it's a pretty interesting thing, and I'm not saying, you know, I mean, that would be crazy. You know, I mean, if that even happened, it's a total Goonies moment, because when do you expect that you would open it up and see it? You know, and I didn't even, when I got that book, I thought it was really weird, because what had happened was, you know, he wrote to my name. He wrote to Chuck Denny. All right. And it's hard to mess up Chuck when you write Chuck. I mean, it's, you know, not too many letters, pretty easy. And there was a clear aberration in it. And, you know, I mean, I'm telling you, and if you look hard enough, you'll be able to find this online if you look hard enough. And I don't know, maybe I could be persuaded for a special reason to share it again at some time. But it would be very, very exciting, because if we got a bunch of really good minds working on this, and that's what I've been telling Bear, and that's why Bear and I are doing what we're doing going through the poem. You know, Bear has a solve that puts it up in Montana. I have one that puts it in Yellowstone. So we're really, really close on our target list. So if we could get great minds to help us put the solves aside and just go through this, that's really what we've been looking for. But that's easier said than done, because nobody wants to come off with their own solve, you know. And I mean, I'm kind of the same way, so I can't really blame anybody. But
Well, so has Bear seen your
Yeah.
secret map?
Yep.
What does Bear think of it?
No, Bear doesn't. You know, Bear has his solve, and he's got his mind on his focus, and that's where it is. He's you know, he is willing to listen to the things that I have said and the things that, you know, because I believe that there's a riddle out there, and I think the riddle that solves it all is, you know, step on a crack and break your mother's back. Step on a crack and break your mother's back. Go look in the back of the poem, all right? And when I say mother's back, just to give you a little insight, go look at Ode to Peggy Jean, and when you flip the pages, it's got the three mothers there. It's Peggy and his two daughters, you know. And so when you flip it back, there's that. I think that part of the poem is actually part of the real poem, and I think that's what a lot of people missed. I think that you have to collectively use those to be able to solve this thing.
What do you think about the wedding, though?
Say that again. I couldn't hear you.
The wedding, when Forrest married Peggy.
Yeah, well, I think he might have. What I believe is this location, and when you're looking at the blaze, it could be a place that he may have proposed to her, is what my gut has been all along. I think and I think it was a place he grew up fishing, and I think it became a love story. It was a love story of fishing. He found his wife and the mother of his beautiful children, and then he found the person that was going to handle the last affairs of his life. I mean, that area had suited him well, and you know, that story makes a whole lot of sense in my book. But people call me crazy too, so y'all have at it.
Well, the problem that I see with that is how would, you know, he has been pretty adamant that he's the only one that knows the location, and if it was special to him because of Peggy, because he was there with her, then certainly she would know, or at least maybe he could say, well, she doesn't know, but she might suspect.
Yeah, that's a fair statement all day long. But I think
this goes to what Forrest, I think, says. Some people assume my words, and if they assume wrong, I don't correct them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he ever said, I've never taken anyone there. And like, it's not a place I've shared with others. I don't think they knew it's a special spot, that's where he wanted to throw his bones.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Zapster, I know what you're saying, but I actually believe it might have been all these special places or somewhere near it or something. He was there with his dad. I think he confirmed that somewhere. I think he confirmed others. And so I think it's actually kind of the obvious of, he took people there, like, let's say Peggy or his dad or whoever, and they didn't know this was really special for some other reason. And they've been to a special spot and they didn't know it. And where did his family search? Up north.
Yep, makes sense.
Well, that's why I was always locked into the Gallatin, is that, you know, he clearly had a lot of love for that river.
Yeah, that makes perfect. But I was asking Fenn on the wedding. So you're telling me you didn't take a flashlight and put it behind the picture?
No, yeah, I didn't do none of that. Yeah, I get you now. I hear what you're saying.
That's just me. I use imagination.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. All through the thrill of the chase, when it was going on and me and Caper were making videos, I never thought the scrapbooks were directed at anybody. I never thought Forrest was giving out hints, but I've been proven wrong. The scrapbooks he did were an absolute response to emails he received and conversations he had. So, yeah, I think Forrest was hinting at things. I just think us as searchers take that hint in a million different directions. But I do think Forrest had an intention for whoever could figure it out. So, yeah, I do believe he was communicating. Could be through doodles, could be through scrapbooks, whatever it was.
Well, that's what somebody asked, Fendi, from the chat room. Why do you think Forrest gave you a map? Or do you think he gave many people a map? Like, why you?
I got no idea why me, but I'll tell you what I basically did was the whole time that I started this, you know, I had kept him in line with my search, but I never called him and gave him questions. I would basically say, hey, well, I went out looking for your treasure today. Here's what I did. And it was just a dialogue every time. And he never really communicated back to me. He never, and this is the weird part about it. This is what really turned the light bulb on for me, was he was having a lot of great insight with a whole lot of great searchers out there. I mean, you guys were getting to meet him. There was tons of people. He was very accessible to everyone and very open to everyone. But to me, he would never let me, he would never open up. He would be like, I said, I found this in the woods and it was a grizzly bear skull. I said, is it, what is it? Is it a grizzly bear skull? Is it a deer or whatever? And he said, it's just a grizzly bear skull. I mean, he was just very short. He would never engage at all, and I thought that was weird, and that's kind of what tipped me. But he never told me that it was a map that he gave me. I kind of took it as he was ready for this thing to be over, because he had had so many issues out there. And if he felt maybe I was on the line, maybe he wanted me to go this way. There's another thought of this, is maybe he just kind of wanted to screw with me a little bit, and he knew that area and he threw it there since I was looking there. And maybe he did it to pacify me, to shut me up. I don't know. But there was one time where I specifically wrote him an email and I said, Mr. Fenn, if there's ever a point where I'm, a pain in your side, I would want you to tell me now, and I'll never contact you again. And he never did that. And the very next email I wrote him, he wrote me back, a little bit more. And that told me that I wasn't, on his bad side. So I don't know. It's a great question. Yeah, it's
the only way I believe to rectify this situation and answer the questions for you is there's 235 people that now need to go over to Fendy's site or YouTube channel and subscribe. And his next show is going to show this map, and then we'll all weigh in. We're here for you. We're here for you, friend.
Actually, that's there's probably a video up there that says it. Here, since y'all are showing, I'm going to show you this map right now. Can I share my screen?
Play the breaking news.
Yeah, hold on. Give me just a second to pull it up so I don't pull up the wrong thing. All right.
I was just saying.
And hold on. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I have done this on other shows, and I want to be fair because I have done this exact same thing. So I'm going to give you guys the same bite I gave other audiences out there.
He just said we're not special. I give it to everybody.
Share your screen, Fendi. Share your screen.
No. Okay, hold on 1 second.
We don't want you to be the only ones that haven't seen it.
No, yeah. This is hilarious.
Let's just hope it's not a big.
Lurker Mike's in the house, guys. Hi, Lurker Mike.
Hey, Lurker
Mike.
Mike.
In a while.
All right, let's see. Let me find the shared screen deal here. Hold on just a sec. I got to close out this. And then
for the first time ever on the Cowlazars channel.
Here it is. All right. So this is a doodle. So I didn't include the everything where he personalized it to me, and I didn't include another portion that shows another little bit of it. But this is the main deal. And this is the best part about what I want to show you right here, because when you go and you take this thing and let me put my glasses on.
Those almost look like Chinese letters, don't they?
I was going to say, is that a Chinese menu?
It looks like a running man, doesn't it? That's kind of what I see it looking like there. But when the beautiful part about this whole thing is when you flip it like this, and I'll open it back up and turn it upside down, you have north heading right here. All right, you have an X, which marks the spot right here. All right. And this road that you see right here matches up to a very specific spot in Yellowstone. Very, very specific spot. I'm telling you, this is unbelievable. And I've had this since November of 2018. And I have been trying to tell this story on many, many places. And people are skeptical of it. And I'm just as skeptical to this day. But if we have this is from the author in November of 2018. So there you have it.
There we have it.
Right here on this show.
Never seen before on
this show.
On this show.
This show.
On the doodle note, I didn't notice this myself, but I had posted myself on YouTube, and people have viewed it. And someone in the comments mentioned that, hey, I see stick figures in your area, and it didn't even occur to me. But I did the same. It's not like that it's road, but I took his stick figure in his third book. The title is escaping me right now, but the third book,
Once Upon a While.
Once Upon a While. The one stick figure in there matches the creeks, the creek layout in the parking lot of the area. And someone else had to point it out to me that they saw the stick figures. It didn't even occur to me, but the doodle did match the.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That-
creeks and the parking lot. And
Wouldn't that be something if the doodles were a hint? In other words, it's the same basic shape of this area the entire time.
Isn't it crazy? I've seen this. I've seen that drawing a couple other times, actually.
I could see Forrest
online.
doing something like that. He's the
All right.
trickster. You know, I could see him doing something like that.
Well, let's take it a step further. Is anybody interested in knowing where this beautiful location might be? What it looks like around there? Would you be interested in knowing what a picture looks from where this is?
Well, it's in the park, you said, right? Is it near DeLacy?
Yeah, it's near Shoshone Lake.
You are the source.
No,
you are the source.
All right, here, check this out. I think the easiest way maybe for this to do this is for me to stop my video and it shows them my screen share here.
Oh, we can already see it in your glasses.
Ah, there you go.
Beautiful. Oh, looky there.
Can you see it? Is it might not pop
pretty
up
nice?
big.
Yeah, we can see it.
It looks like it's near Fishing Bridge.
I'm gonna tell you, those snow-capped mountains are a beautiful, beautiful place, man. I'm telling you right now, it's just unreal. It's that's a very beautiful area. The thing is this is a high-traveled area. This is an area that people spend with their families. There's tons and tons of activity here. You could easily drive by the location. That's why I believe.
Why aren't you saying at this point where it is?
Well, I mean, it's a bit. Well, the fun of it is Bear and I are doing we're basically this year we're putting ourselves out there on our channel. So, and that's different from my Fendi Jones. Bear and I is Bear and Fendi look for stuff. And so if you guys are interested in Finn on that, that's where we're going through the book and going through the scrapbooks and Too Far to Walk on how we came to this area, or at least I'm doing how I came to this area. Bear's doing how he gets to his. So we're doing each independent story, but we're not going to give our whole story out because, I mean, you never know what's going to happen in the future. We might have a great story to tell, but we're going to give enough to the searchers to know, because you guys deserve it, and I've even told, Jack, I've sent Jack this. Jack said that he didn't, in his direct response to me, he said, I don't think Forrest tried to influence anybody to find this location. And of course he would say that. I mean, he's not going to tell us, hey man, you're right. He don't want nobody to be there, So, I mean, I have to go off of the facts. And the fact is that I have this from Finn in his hand. So that's the best thing I've come up with.
Let me ask you, let's say it came out later that that's the final location. You have the final location.
Yeah.
Do you believe that people could trample that area and destroy it?
Not any different than any other part of Yellowstone. I mean, that can happen right now anywhere.
Does that make sense to anybody that the area could be trampled upon?
I believe that's horse crap. That's just my opinion. I believe it's horse crap. And that whole thing, I mean, come on. He always said like he was a maverick. I mean, he pushed the boundaries. And people were digging up crap, and he was laughing at people because why would they get arrested for digging up something? He pushed people to those.
That's where Jack was the brilliant part of that. I mean, I've been in this area a lot of times too. I mean, I've been, in this area a ton. And even on that date, if it ever comes out, with Finn's estate, I wrote him a letter that day. And when I left there on May 18th, and I told him, I was like, man, I don't, I'm walking away from this right now. Number one, I didn't feel good about it because I knew if I had a map and it came out that I had a map, I would be one of the biggest, buttholes, out there in the world, because it would appear that I had information that nobody else had. But Finn didn't tell me this, and part of what a lot of you guys don't know is I do a lot of work on a national level for veterans, so right now you can go to the post office and get the Healing PTSD stamp, and that raises money for veterans and the National Center for Post-Traumatic Stress. And my family was instrumental in putting that together. And so, I mean, I couldn't fathom going and finding a chest with that and walking off. And I sent him that. I said, I really feel like, I was the second person to give your chest away, but I don't deserve it because the person behind me, they solved this thing without that. I mean, that's why I'm not pissed at all, man. I mean, I told you, man, he changed my life big time.
So Fendi, when you showed that picture, when you turned your camera off, it doesn't show it in the chat. So
okay.
They're asking if you can share your screen and then show that picture again.
All right, sure, man. Hang on.
A lot of people are like, we need to see it.
So
let me see it. What I'll do is.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, yeah, I was just going to say what I'll do is give me a second to pull it up, and I'll pull it on my screen where it's large and it's a whole lot easier to see.
Let's put the link to Fendi's channel because
I did that.
Put them both
up every week. I mean, put both of them.
What's the name of the other? What's the name of the other channel? Fendi?
Bear and Fendi look for stuff. Look
that
up
one.
Bear.
I put the link in.
Okay, cool. And then just Fendi Jones is mine individually. Yep. So, and it's and some of these videos you'll see that are on there, and I've got some that talk about some of these. I had a lot of them up front before, but when Jack came out with the solve, I backed a lot of them off because, you know, I'm not trying to steal Jack's thunder, but the longer that Jack goes on with this, the community needs to heal on this and then move on. And I feel like I got information that we could all use. So I might be right.
Well,
I might be wrong.
I think everybody probably has a little something, like they're over, not
I
all
think
of
so
us can
too.
be right. So if everybody finds one little thing, that's how we're going to put it together. It's interesting because Yates is in the room. Haven't seen you in a while. Saw you the other night, and he said if it's in an area that anyone's concerned, let's say it's in the park, they're going to set up cameras. If you come in, and they will get your license plate, you will be arrested. People have been fined, arrested, etc. I just don't buy the story of it's going to get trampled. The wilderness is going to get trampled or destroyed. What the rock? There's going to be a lot of people. Cynthia and I talked about this today. A lot of people will make it a shrine, and they don't care about that. They don't care. Even the GPS solve location, some people went out and they left little trinkets there. They're not worried about that. They're worried about the people that might dig up or try to whatever. But what's the whatever? Like there might be a tree that falls. Like there might be a trample.
Yeah,
It
this
doesn't
isn't
make
like
sense
The
to me.
Secret, you know, where it's in public places and people are digging up, you know, grass and flower
Yeah.
beds and so forth.
Well,
It's
plus there's a video that also said that the treasure was never even buried where, you know, that's what Jack put out on his deal was the treasure wasn't, that's why he looked up the New Mexico video. That's what he found was it wasn't buried where you find it.
yeah,
So,
and I never understood why people were digging. You know,
yeah.
it's like how to
Yeah.
draw attention to yourself. Go hiking into the wilderness with a shovel. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Here's
mean,
the
how
thing,
does
though, Jack could put out the solve. Jack could put it out there, and half the people won't believe it.
Oh, more than
Mhm.
half.
You're
Yeah,
100%
they'll be like, that's not
right.
it.
That. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it
you're
won't
100%
matter.
Yeah, but I
right.
think a clear majority would. Like I do have to say, the thing that I liked about the GPS solve that I relatively don't believe in anymore. There's still a long shot maybe, but Jack has said no, so I pretty much say no. Is it fit everything that he said? It's in the poem, totally in the poem. It's simple. It's right there. It's all those things. So I looked at that and went, okay, I could see that. If Jack put out a solve similarly, not GPS, but something else that's like, this takes you to, you didn't, and we would be sitting here going, 90% of us going, that makes sense. There's still going to be 10% that says if it's not in Forrest's backyard, I don't care where you say it is. Sorry, never. But I think there's a clear majority of us that like GPS, some people say to this day, I can't believe you gave it up, K-Pro, just because Jack said no. That's it. And I'm like, I just don't believe that. After everything that happened, all of that, I just don't. I'm not married to it. It's not. But it made sense to me.
Hey, bro, on that one, everybody attacked you because of how you put your description on your YouTube.
Right.
Oh no, it was confirmed. It was confirmed that it was given to us, but I understand your point. That was me. That was
and
not
you know what?
K-Pro.
It's funny
That was
because
me.
I'm saying it's how you put the wording.
I get that now.
See where I'm coming from? That's why you got attacked.
Well, and that is, it's an interesting point because I've said this before and I'll say it now. I think that's the moment that I realized we're just not two searchers that put out something we thought. Genuinely, I think both Mike started his channel, but just a guy that wanted to make sure he video captured some stuff with his voice. I think when we put confirmed and 5 exclamations and it rocked, I mean, people that I consider my search friends, and they were mad at me. They called me and said, I can't put this in an email. What the heck were you doing? They didn't say heck, and they were angry. And I went, it was just, we thought it was confirmed in our mind. They're like, when you speak, it's different level. And so you need to realize you got, we feel like you duped us. And I never recognized, I mean, I thought of myself, like Greg, you said at the beginning, you see, you know, you're kind of representing the underdogs. I felt like I have been an underdog this entire time. I'm going to find it just because I'm not supposed to. And so that was the moment that I realized, no, things are a little different.
No, it's how you phrase things. When you phrase things in that capture and you put a title up there, it is found. You can't do that.
Right, but let me just say, if Fendi put up confirmed and put 6,
I found the treasure.
We did in our
Found the
mind.
location. We didn't find the treasure. But
Well,
I take full responsibility for that. K-Pro had nothing to do with me doing the title. She didn't know I was going to do that.
But you know what? Other than that, beside the point, congratulations. You guys got married. Congratulations.
There you go.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks,
Thank you.
Greg. We
Way to
appreciate
bring
it.
it around.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's that screen share real quick.
At least somebody in the community got married. I got fucking dumped.
Oh, you gotta love it, man. You gotta love it.
So
Let's
that's
see.
the doodle. And
Yeah,
then
that's the doodle with Finn. Now let me. I can't see the round thing here because it goes behind my black bar. So let me turn it so everybody can kind of see it here.
Why did you change the screen after I was making a joke?
Oh, cuz man.
they can still see you, Greg.
Let's see here. Let me open it up now. There you go.
We all heard it, Greg. It was funny too. I had to mute because I didn't want to laugh too loud.
Yeah, so there you have it. That right there is the road that goes by the place. I mean, this is a great location, y'all. I'm telling you right now. And
And they really want to see the picture you showed of the lake. That's what they couldn't see.
All right, here we go.
So you said, and I don't think you said that this is the spot, but it's a picture you showed.
This is pretty close. All right, let's look at this one.
Right.
We got you on this too. So here we go on this. Let me put this up and then
Picture pages, picture pages.
that's it right
There we go. There you go, chat
Yeah.
room. Now you can see it. A
Look
lot
at
of
that
people were
beautiful
like,
There's
little
the money
spot.
shot. That's a nice,
Mhm.
yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna tell you, look at those snow-capped mountains right there. And so what you're looking at right there is you're looking east towards Cody, Wyoming. And so those are the Absaroka Mountains, and those are the ones that you drive through the east entrance to come around the Yellowstone Lake. So that's basically where this is it's around the Yellowstone Lake. But the Yellowstone Lake is freaking huge. So I mean, if you want to,
That's pretty close to where we saw grizzlies the last time we were there.
yeah, I didn't see grizzlies, but I came across a few black bears when I was out in the wild, just kind of like, checking places out. But I found some very, very beautiful secluded places that were very, very close to populated places.
Oh, I just realized there's a boat in your picture.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a good clue. That's why I'm leaving it up there a little longer.
That tells you Lake Yellowstone.
And this isn't all the info I got, y'all. I mean, I got some great information on stuff that I have found in and around this area that will actually blow your minds. And it'll be good that you're hearing about it now, because on our next show that we have, we're going to be going over the chapter that talks about a little of it from Too Far to Walk. And so, I think it's called Joseph Seahawk, maybe. Was that the name in that book of Too Far to Walk there? But anyway, that's one of 5 that we're going to be doing. But stick around and hang out with us, man. We have some fun. We'd love to have everybody out there to hang out with us. And
so I did put the link out in the chat to Fendi.
Thanks,
I also
man.
put the link to the Brutal Truth, Greg's channel.
Thanks.
And as we wrap this up, any of you guys that have a channel or have anything you want to share, let me know and I will.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
we appreciate
and
you
to
having
the
us.
310 people that are watching right now, we want to thank you guys for being here, because you knew we were going to be here, and you guys don't show up like this. You heard all these great panelists. If you're interested in being on the panel, we, just like tonight, there's going to be a variety. People that have never been on, people that we know from the forums, total lurkers, famous celebrity YouTubers. There's a little bit of everybody. So email me though at kpro3@aol.com. This is hopefully going to be a weekly series for a while, especially when new information comes out. Oh my gosh. We have not decided back in the day, meaning pre-find or announcement of the fine. We used to do marathons, 12-hour sessions and just going crazy. We're not going to go that extreme, but we do have a couple of weeks. But if you have a topic in mind, also email me. Some of you guys have been doing that. We're going to do next week's show is going to be the same thing with different people of just where are we now? What do you think? Just some different thoughts. And we still have the same situation. Some people we know, some people that we don't, some lurkers out there, but keep this. I think it'll be interesting to keep this going, because there's going to be, I kind of like what Fendi brought out with his map of everybody has that one little thing that is just, it makes it go aha to them. And I think if we bring a lot of those together, I think we have a chance. And Jack, I don't think is being as wise as Forrest got tricked a few times with different emails and slipping up. That's how Jack said he found it. I think Jack's slipping up, and I think some people are hot on the trail.
So what do you guys all think about, K-Pro, Mike? what do you guys all think about me when I'm going down to Santa Fe here in the next 2 to 3 weeks? What's your opinion on that?
So, Greg, what's the purpose of the Santa Fe trip?
Oh, I want to stop at the bookstore. I'm going to go through my search just for fun because I like it down there. I love it down there. I mean,
So you've always thought that it was in New Mexico, correct? That's your state?
yeah, that's my state.
Okay.
I always thought it was in New Mexico, but it's just beautiful there. I mean, I loved it there. I mean, the whole thing, whole atmosphere, the people, they're so friendly, the art, everything. Because my whole thing was Forrest never said animals were real. He says he sees animals and everything like that. He never said they were real. And I went off statues.
Oh, I see.
Oh, I like that.
It's interesting. See, that's a different way to take it. And that's one of the reasons we're doing these panels, to get different opinions from people. There's certain things that, I would never have thought of that. It's imagination. I get it.
Now, K-Pro promised me that while I was on here, I could talk to you all about your car warranties.
Well, let me
Right.
give my opinion. Greg, if you are going there to look at yourself, stop by the bookstore, look at some art, I love Santa Fe. I think it's great. I believe if there is any attempt for interaction with Forrest family right now, I think we're in a place that we're starting to really come to terms with the end of the chase. I think they are not in that place of wanting any interaction. And I think it might,
Can
even
you-
with best of intentions, it might not do well for the family. And I just want to, I'm always saying, like right now, I have the Santa Fe package. I can't find it. And I have a tracking number. I have something that came from Santa Fe. I have corresponded with the family in the past. I want to, but I'm like, I've got to leave them alone. I've just got to figure this out on my own.
People want to send me stuff to drop off at the house. So what's your guys' opinion on that?
I personally wouldn't
Yeah.
go unannounced
Yeah.
to the house. They've got enough. Because of what they've gone through in the past. You know what I mean? And it's not you personally, Greg. It's anybody. I don't think any searcher should show up at the house unannounced.
Okay,
It's just they've dealt with too much. They're doing their own grieving process and all that. So I wouldn't. I don't think it's a good idea.
Are you planning to meet Russ? Santa Fe Russ. He's on Thor. Russ Dana.
Well, I plan on meeting a lot of people. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna see Bill Moses. We all know Moses. He don't give up Moses. He talks about.
So,
Moses.
Greg, you should do a searcher meetup at the Collected Works bookstore. I mean, wouldn't that be a cool idea to see who would show up at a certain time, certain day, and film it, put it on your YouTube channel? That'd be kind of cool.
And you should go to all the banks and find the ones that have the blue carpeting.
There you go.
I like that idea.
You just talk to him.
You could do wanted posters for the treasure chest. Has anybody seen me? Just put them up on the telephone poles all over Santa Fe. In a vault there somewhere, right?
I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna enjoy. I'm gonna talk to people. I'm gonna also go to like art museums and get like interviews from people and see if they want to interview from art museum. Because last time I was down there, a lot of people had good things to say, but then others it wasn't bad. They just said, he's a storyteller. That's
Yeah.
all.
Right. Well, Mike at the Operation Jamie, he went into like a random little trinket shop and was like, "Do you know about?" And he literally just went live down the street. I can tell you, I got a birthday present for Mike 2 years ago, and we went on a poker cruise, and we sat next to some people from Santa Fe, obviously
Older couple. Yep.
older couple, well off into art, and I'm like, "Oh, what do you think about Forrest Fenn?" You could have said, "What do you think about the devil?" Their
Looked like
face.
she'd been sucking on a lemon. That's how she looked.
Oh, it was not. And they're like, "What do you know?" And I'm
I
like, "Well,
think
that's
she was
how we
one of the
met."
old biddies, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, they
Oh,
weren't
it
on the
was
guest
not good.
list.
And there's a lot of people that do not have favoring opinions for a variety of reasons. So I think if you could just do man on the street. I've thought about going down Fremont Street and just like, well, Mike came up with this. Where does where water's hauled? But like we could do, you could do
Billy on the
that.
street. Netflix. Anybody? I could do that. I could do that.
Mine is Canyon Road because he says canyon. It doesn't mean it was a canyon. He never said it was a real canyon. Mine was Canyon Road. Just like the sculpture. You know what I mean?
And I know there's people that have had us solved in Yellowstone, West Yellowstone, the street
That
name,
has Canyon Road.
also in Santa Fe. Yeah, that's a popular.
And then there's a D, and he said no knowledge without the D. No,
Right.
but what I would say, Greg, is try to make the searcher meetup, if you do on one of the first days you're there, because you will be shocked how many people know someone, especially if they live in Santa Fe, and there's a lot of searchers that live in Santa Fe. You might get invites to places and things that are happening in Santa Fe related to the search that you wouldn't have known before. So that's the cool thing I like about meetups. I figured out, do it on the first day.
Right. Well, between March 11th and March 13th is when I'm going to head down.
Okay.
It's already been determined. So, but I have to stop at Sasha's house though on the way down. So too, because I got to stay at their house.
Nice.
Nice.
We did get a super chat from Mr. 3D Bronze, and there's a lot of people in the room. There is another little treasure hunt going on, and that is called Tell Me Where. I'm going to put the link in the chat. You guys should go check out 3dbronze.com. He makes replicas of the chest. If anybody's interested, 3dbronze.com. Thank you for the super chat, 3D Bronze. And he says, lots of smart people in here. Wonder if any of them can tell me where. Thanks for the nice and civil show. Good to see everyone getting along. Thanks, 3D Bronze. I invite everybody to go to that link, and you can participate in his totally armchair treasure hunt. Tell me where.
Nice.
Yeah, and
Nice.
Billy has from his stash that he
Yeah.
got. He has one of his wonderful chests. So, okay, so make sure you go over to Fendi has two channels, Fendi Jones, and then Bear and Fendi look for stuff. Look for both of those. Greg has a channel, the Treasure Seekers, Brutal Truth. Zapster is on the forums. Billy, you're more Facebooker, or are you on the
Yeah,
forums as well?
I'm a musician, so I do a lot of music stuff on Facebook. I've done
I
one
want to know if Billy entered that hat into the most experienced hat scrapbook competition.
I missed out on that.
And I just want to remind everybody that every Monday night at this time on this channel, we're going to do these panels. And if you're out there and you've never been on the forum, you've never been on YouTube, but if you have an opinion, we're giving a platform for searchers out there to have a voice. So reach out to kpro3@aol.com, and come on and tell us your stories of what the chase means to you, of where you think maybe it was found. Do you think Jack was the finder? We can talk about basically anything you want to, but we are going to kind of keep it into certain topics. But the more people we have on, the better the show will be. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Yeah, we're going to try to limit to 6, so then everybody gets discussions. So that's why we already have a panel for next week, but the week after, and topics. And when things do come up, we'll still break out in breaking news. And yes, AOL still does exist. kpro3@aol.com. That means you're actually more tech savvy than other people when you have AOL.
Does that mean, K-Pro, when I go live down in Santa Fe, you can post it on here live?
We can't go live when you're going live, but we can get the word out.
Do a Zoom if you join this Zoom and share your screen and go live. I mean, that's a possibility, I guess.
There you go.
Maybe we could test it while you're down there. Reach out.
You guys share the Zoom while I'm live down here.
That actually could work.
Yeah, very cool.
Kpro does have the full 56K AOL dialects.
Right. Get an interview with Dorothy at Collected Works. It'd be interesting to hear her take now that it's over.
Dorothy, trust me, I'm going to Dorothy.
I wonder how much the 3 books are going for now at the, or the Thrill of the Chase at the Collected Works bookstore.
Or will she say, you have nice hair, but get the fuck out of here?
I will tell you, I will give you
Tells
this
me she
little
might
bit.
say that, Greg.
Mike and I did do that one event. That was actually where we met, is at Operation Jamie. She's maybe not as enthusiastic of a fan of the chase as one might think. So I will just say we did not get a very warm reception. It was very much, and she is very just so, not in a bad way. She's just very, I think, into the art world, and Forrest was always very good to her. I expected a warm reception, and I got a very matter-of-fact reception. When I went to go get my book in July, Forrest was signing a book for me right before he passed. I went through the wrong door to get my book, and I was all but like police thrown out. And it was like, what are you doing going this way? And I was like, did I go the wrong? Yes, you did. You could go. I'm like, what do you want here? And it was like, wow. So I don't know if you will. She's lovely. just think if you say you're a searcher, don't expect loveliness back.
What about Forrest Fenn's old place? The pond and everything.
Oh, Nadra Matucci's.
Yeah, because they already said they'd come in. I already have reservations.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, that would, I think it'd be interesting
Cool.
to see. Yeah, like tour it and see it and all that. I think that would be interesting.
I find that if you like, do you know who I am? That goes over really well. Just try that one.
You know who I am.
my baby blue eyes and just say, hey, that's all I'm gonna do.
Dress up like the Stinger and do it, man. Live large, bro.
Just tell them you're here for the
have
brutal truth and you're not leaving until you get it. That'll go over real good.
If you show up with your face and just say, I'm a searcher, brutal truth. Oh, goodness gracious. That's a joke.
Santa Fe just paint my face. That'd be some shit. Wouldn't it?
That would be hilarious.
All right, everybody. You want to wrap it up, K-Pro?
Yes, thank you all for being here. Thank you to
Yeah.
the panel. Thank you to, I don't know, all of you that were here tonight. So if there is a meetup, some people are already asking Greg if there's a meetup. Go subscribe to his channel. He has also a Facebook group. And we'll get the word out too. Well, I mean, the community is becoming smaller just because it is post-fine. We only have like the hardcore that are hanging on. So we'll get the word out as well. But I say a meetup. The meetups are so fun. You get to hear from so many.
And there is some breaking news, at least for our channel, K-Pro, that you can speak to, and that is there is going to be another February this year, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So Jamie just reached out. So from Operation Jamie, she organizes the Fenbury's. This is her way of giving back because the community gave back to her. So she's calling it Afterbury. So it's like after Fenbury's.
Case is over, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically it's Fenbury. It's going to be August 21st, 22nd, which is Forrest's birthday.
Mhm.
It's going to be at Hyde Park. Many have already started making reservations. It's got announced. She sent us emails this morning to get the word out. So I would reserve quickly because I think, I don't know how Hyde Park works. So Group Shelter 2, Hyde Park, August 21st, 22nd, that weekend. So make sure if you want to attend, it's going to be, I think, like from before. They're asking for raffle prizes. There's usually Cynthia does one night where she does like a hot dog roast or a margarita. I don't know what goes on. I just know some have asked us if we're going to attend. I usually don't plan right now more than a month in advance. We're definitely going to try, but we've got to figure out. But lots and lots of people will be there, and searchers, and then just lurkers that have as fascinating of stories. So
Tell them newlyweds don't plan that far in advance, do they?
yeah,
Not
newlyweds
one
with 4
kid.
kids.
Yeah, with 4 kids. Yeah, no. But it would be interesting to go there and meet everybody. So never say never. We'll see. It's in August. We have time. So we'll see.
Also, Mike, I have some news too for you guys, some breaking news. I got an email, and this was Saturday, okay? I don't know how much this is true because I'm more of a person, I have to have proof. Was there a truck pulled off of a mountain in Montana?
When you say pulled
Ever?
off of a mountain, you mean
Ever?
towed
Yeah.
off? Towed?
Like, I'm going to tell you, hold on 1 second. I'm going to read it to you guys in 1 second here. Give me 1 second. Let me bring it up. I'm going to tell you exactly what was said. Hold on. All right. So,
Everybody hide.
Montana, I drove a 2016 Ford 250. There's a $60,000 truck to the top of Sheep Mountain. Was there a truck ever pulled off of Sheep Mountain that was damaged? That somebody went to go rescue somebody?
Sounds like a 5-leaf story.
Are you talking like in June or like ever, or what do you mean?
I just know that he's sending court documents to me in the next 2 to 3 days. He's digging them up right now.
Oh, court documents.
Well, no, this is what happened before what happened prior to what happened to him after. Nobody knows the guy's name. I know the guy's name. I can't say his name.
So is he
Okay.
saying he's the finder, or like, why do we care about this truck?
He thought he was the finder. You know what I mean?
Well, him and a lot of other people. Yeah. How do you know he's not just pulling your leg, Greg?
I've got the chest right here, guys.
Yeah.
So,
It looks bigger.
You showed it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's what they all say.
What I'm saying is there's always a thing to my madness, okay? So I have this, okay? I just want to know if this is true that this truck was pulled off this mountain.
I have never heard that. So I've never heard that. Chase related in any of the forums, you know what I mean? I've never heard anybody bring that up before. So
I was going to say the only one that I know had issues was Cynthia. She had a truck that got stuck in mud. I know of different people that have either broken down or whatever. This specific, I'd need more information. Like, no, I've never
Now,
heard it, but I don't know.
Chasing Indy in the chat says I can verify that story. That's what the Ranger told me in 2019. So I don't know if that's true. But maybe Chasing Indy could come on and tell maybe another time, or on your show, Greg. I know she likes going on your show, so maybe she could go on and tell what. Because why would a Ranger just tell you that, Chasing Indy? It's interesting. So
Well, I guess
I
what
don't know,
I'm not
Greg. Maybe you're
following,
onto
like,
something.
why? So someone who did they have the treasure and it got stolen, or they think they were searching and they broke down? Like, I don't understand why we care about. I don't know if you guys have talked about this on your show. I've missed it.
I need to find out this guy's bullshitting me. You know what I mean?
Right. He could be pulling your zucchini. You never know.
You pull my zucchini. Stop it, Mike.
Oh, better watch it. You'll shoot your eye out,
Moderate
kid.
the moderator, Michael. Thank you for that.
Sorry about that.
Well, there goes all your monetization.
No,
Hashtag zucchini. Got it. Okay.
Chasing Indy says it was the Hegman Red Canyon area, and I told the story on your panel, meaning our show. So I don't remember that, but I mean, we've done a lot of shows. So, all right. I don't know, Greg. To answer your question, I don't know how you could verify that. I don't think there's a way.
And this guy's been a part of this whole search community for many years. And this guy is getting the court documents of what the judges said about Forrest Fenn, that Forrest Fenn told the judges and the attorneys.
Mm.
Okay,
No,
that makes
more
sense. I was
There you
trying
go.
to figure out why we care. That would be why we care. Yeah, well, just like Yellowstone, I think it's interesting to know what the legal guys at Yellowstone say about Forrest. So that'll be interesting for sure if it all pans out. Yeah.
But this started there, but it ended at New Mexico. This was the first thing. So this was the first thing this guy did, and then it ended up in New Mexico.
His truck ended up in New Mexico?
Oh, he got arrested in New Mexico after this whole incident.
Oh,
Okay.
I hope.
That
he
sounds
digging
like a
holes?
story for another time. I do want to thank Chasing Indy and Hooli as our moderators, and Hooli put a picture of an eggplant so you can moderate. Hooli.
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me on, and I really enjoyed this. So thanks so much for putting this together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was. Thank you guys for coming on because you guys make the panel. So yeah, and we invite you to come back for sure. We'll get some new people in, but I think we should have a mix.
Yeah,
kind of the veterans
For sure,
and new people.
for sure.
So,
yeah.
and thank you to K-Pro. It really was her idea. So she said, let's bring the panels back. And I said, whatever you want, honey. So thank you, K-Pro, for the idea.
I hear the ball and chain. Ching, 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 ching.
That's not true. Do you see all the crap we're buying? He got a brand new command center this weekend. Honey, I have an idea. I need to get a U-Haul truck 2 weekends in a row. And no more U-Haul trucks, I can tell you. So you guys will see the full command center soon because it's
Got a lot of comic books to go through. So anybody interested in comics, email me, cowlazars@gmail.com. Thank you.
Don't email until we have an inventory list. Don't email. No one email. Everybody keeps asking for them, and I'm like, we don't have a list yet. So no, he said it. He doesn't mean he's a tease. He puts exclamation points after confirmed. You know him. Don't listen to him.
I want to thank you, Gabriel. I want to thank you, Mike, for allowing me on the show. Thank you for coming together. Nice seeing you again, Fendi. Nice meeting you, Billy, Zapster. Nice meeting you guys all. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Greg. Yeah, come back sometime. It'll be it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great to meet
goodness.
everybody. It was fun shooting the Shinola.
Yeah, we're going to be Fen talking for a while, I think, until I think the 1 year window opens, and then we're going to hope for more and probably not get anything. So something's going to break this loose. Anyway,
We're one step closer today.
And Jack, you always have an open invitation to come on the panel if you so choose.
Yeah,
we're not going to hold our breath.
Okay. Albert Camus, our friend Albert, brought up, when is the PDF going to be on Thor, K-Pro, of
Okay.
Jack's responses that we verified with him?
So to be fair to myself, I tried. I'm an AOL person. There was a technology issue.
No.
I got whatever compressed. I don't know. I got the technology issue solved, and I'm hoping it's not going to be tonight. It's going to be tomorrow. I tried it over the weekend. It didn't work. I didn't even get Mike involved because he was comic booking. I figured it out, and I am going to be posting it. Didn't even get a tech guy person involved. So I'm hoping tomorrow, and I'm sorry because I know lots are asking about it because that's where he confirmed WWWH is water and it's warm. So I know everybody wants to see that. So yeah, get Shiloh on the panel. Oh, sure. And I'm sure Zoe
Yeah.
and
Right.
Carl, Kelly.
So while he's not here, what do you guys think that table's for in Greg's room? Sorry, Greg.
Oh, it's a running thing in his chat room. So Mike,
I thought it was a hint to a solution or something. I didn't know.
oh, you are in danger.
I think we need to spring for a humidifier for his hair.
All right.
I love his hair. I love it. Okay, guys,
everybody.
we're off
Yeah.
for tonight. Thank you all for being here. For all of you,
And
it'll
you
be
know
fun.
what we say? The thrill of the chase is over, but the community lives on. We're all still here. We're all still going to discuss. So thank you guys for coming on Monday night's Forrest Fenn panel, and we will see you all next time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.